dear Prof. Nii Quaynor, convener of AFNOG, dear Nancy Dotsi, AFNOG coordinator, our host, the government of DRC, distinguished friends and participants of the African and global internet community, greetings from Addis Ababa. It's a great pleasure and privilege to say a few words to this community that has a special place for me. Fate has made it that we cannot meet face-to-face for the second year in a row, but I do hope that our grand gathering will be back next year. It's been more than a year that we are living in the first, and I hope the only, pandemic of our lifetime. What a sad year. More than 170 million people contracted COVID-19, amongst which 3.5 million lost their lives. COVID-19 also changed our way of life, maybe in a lasting manner. In the last year, many countries around the world, and many in Africa, had months of complete lockdowns and all kinds of movement restrictions. But the internet saved us from an even darker year. Almost everywhere in the world, businesses, banks, government services, and education moved online at previously unknown rates. People started to work and study remotely and access vital public services such as health information online. We could even have our African Internet Summit online in spite of the impossibility of traveling. One good side effect of COVID-19 on our continent is that it is as if suddenly many Africans started to appreciate opportunities provided by digital technologies. However, sadly, there are many more Africans that do not enjoy connectivity than those that have access to the internet, since only 1 in 3 African is an internet user compared to 1 in 2 for the rest of the world. What is even more worrying is that the trend shows that the growth rate was slowing down, at least until 2019, which is the latest reliable number. But I do hope that with many activities moving online during the pandemic, governments, regulators, operators, and other stakeholders realize that internet connectivity is essential in people's lives and do more to connect the remaining unconnected people. At Internet Society, we are trying to do our part by proposing complementary solutions that we call community networks to connect communities that are often left out, since connecting them is not commercially viable for traditional operators. Community networks are networks built by the community, for the community, and operated by community itself. The Internet Society has been a strong supporter of community networks for over a decade. We work with people and partners from places as different as the mountain hills in Greece, a village in Zimbabwe, or neighborhoods in New York City, so that they are empowered to build, manage, and use their own networks. We do this through trainings, promoting funding and partnerships to help with deployments and advocating for policies that make more community networks possible. In addition to bringing the internet to more people, we also work on making it better. In particular, for more than a decade, we have been supporting the development and deployment of internet exchange points infrastructure. In 2020, we supported IXPs with technical expertise, training, and equipment in 12 African countries. On this occasion, I would like to thank our organizational members, such as AFRINIC, that support a lot of the work that we do, like, for example, the community-driven peering series dedicated to bringing faster and more affordable internet to Africa. One area where we are relatively newcomers, but where we have done considerable work in the last year and a half is in measuring the internet. We started this project since we realized that we, as well as other stakeholders of the internet development sphere, are often working in the dark since we don't have enough data to tell us whether what we do is taking the internet in the right direction. To bridge this gap, ISOC is building Internet Society Pulse, a site which consolidates trusted third-party internet measurement data from various sources in a single platform. We use the data to examine internet trends and tell data-driven stories so that everyone, everywhere, can understand the health, availability, and evolution of the internet. I encourage everyone who is interested in internet evolution to use, analyze, and share the data presented on Internet Society Pulse in their work and research. In Africa, with our partner Afrinic, we focus on internet resilience, since we realize that there are many issues in this area and not enough data. Well, one other area that we are passionate about is the trustworthiness of the internet. Unless we trust it, we can't use it for most of the applications that have become critical for our lives today. I don't need to tell this audience that probably the most important tool to make our communication secure and trustworthy is end-to-end encryption. Effective encryption is key to secure online communication for everything, from financial transactions to healthcare. It is a foundational component upon which a trustworthy internet is built. However, encryption is currently under threat. Some governments and organizations are pushing to weaken encryption with the objective to fight crime. But we strongly believe that weakening encryption would go against their objective and not only undermine efforts to prevent crime, but also create a dangerous precedent that compromises the personal security of billions of people and the national security of countries around the world. That's why, at the Internet Society, our work on encryption focuses on promoting and defending the use of encryption around the world. Another important area for security is routing security. As most of you know, the routing system was not designed to independently verify the route claims of individual networks, making it a relatively easy target for bad actors. New tools and practices have since been developed to make routing secure, but as all IETF standards, they are voluntary and not all operators implement them, putting all of us at risk. Manners, or mutually agreed norms for routing security, addresses this problem by establishing a security baseline of concrete actions for network operators. We need you, the African Internet community, to promote manners so that we make the internet more secure. Last but not least, a fundamental threat for the internet is an attack on its model. We all love the internet because it is open and global, in addition to being secure and trustworthy. We take it for granted, but it's not sure that these properties will be maintained for future generations, since there are people who believe in a different model. To maintain the internet that we love, we need to recognize what makes it unique and protect it. That's why the Internet Society has created the Internet Impact Assessment Toolkit. The toolkit is a regulatory assessment tool to help policymakers, technologists, and internet users analyze how decisions and trends could impact the architecture of the internet. It defines the critical properties that underpin the internet's success and helps us ensure our actions allow the internet to reach its full potential and bring connectivity, innovation, and empowerment to everyone. Finally, last year was the first year for the implementation of our 5-year strategic plan, which goals are to work towards an open, globally connected, secure, and trustworthy internet for everyone. As our 2020 impact shows, we are making progress toward achieving our goals. It describes the actions made to improving online trust and security and improve internet access for individuals and communities around the continent during this unique year. I would like to invite you to read that impact report, since it is also your impact, since our community is central to our work. Finally, I would like to welcome everyone to this virtual African Internet Summit. I'm sure there will be interesting discussions that I will encourage everyone to attend. Thank you very much for listening. I wish us all a successful African Internet Summit.